Welcome to today's tutorial. In today's tutorial, we're going to be looking at putting splatter effects on a portrait as shown in the image above. Now, the inspiration from this has come from famous artist Jackson Pollock, who created abstract paintings which involved a lot of splattered paint, as well as artists who have done crazy things like this, where they have got a jet engine and splattered paint, and it all looks very messy and a lot of fun indeed. So let's get straight into the video. These videos are made with the beginner in mind, and they're designed to help people become better at using Photoshop. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get my Photoshop to be the same as yours, and I suggest that you do the same. So first we're going to come over to Window, and then we're going to go to Workspace, and then we're going to hit Reset Essentials. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to reset all the tools. So I'm going to come over to the Move tool, click the Move tool, and then up here under the 4 arrows, I'm going to right click and I'm going to hit Reset All Tools and going to hit OK. So now my Photoshop is the exact same as your Photoshop. Now, what I'm going to do is this Learn tab is a little bit annoying, so I'm going to hit the minus and I'm just going to move it out the way. Now, what I'm going to do is delete all my layers so I have the same start images as you that are available in the description box below. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this image of Paint Splatter. I'm going to get my rectangular marquee tool and I'm just going to draw around all the splatters, the dribbles, and I'm going to go Command and C to copy. I'm going to go over to my portrait and I'm going to go Command and V to paste. So I'm just going to park that there for a second, and I'm going to hit the eyeball to hide that. I'm going to come back to using it in a moment. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click my background layer and make it my active layer by clicking it, and now it's light gray. And I'm going to duplicate that layer by going Command and J. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hide my background layer so we can see the effects of what we're doing on this layer here. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get Photoshop to separate the model from the background. The easiest way to do this is come over to Photoshop's Object Select tool, select that and draw around my model completely, and Photoshop will now make a selection based on the model. It's done a very good job of that, but not so much around the face here. So to correct this, we just come over to our selection tools, we right click and we click the Quick Selection tool. Now this is going to add to the selection, so we need to ensure that under the properties of the tool we have the plus icon selected here. We click that and now we're able to just draw around the face, and we're just able to add this little bit to the face here to make it look much more complete. I'm happy with that selection, so now I need to use a layer mask to remove the background, and I'm just going to come down here and use my layer mask here, and we've now selected the model in its entirety from the background. The next step is for me to create a background colored layer for my model to sit on. In order to do that, I come down to my lower layer, click that. I then create a new layer by using this plus button here, and I'm going to call it my colored layer, just like that. Then I'm going to come over to my gradient tool and I'm going to select my gradient tool there. I'm going to ensure that I have clicked and I'm on the circular gradient here, not the linear gradient. I need to be on the circular gradient. And then I need to choose the colors that I'm going to select. Now I'm going to click my foreground color and I'm going to go for a green shade, quite a light shade of green like that. And I'm going to hit OK. Then I'm going to come down to my background layer and I'm going to go again for green, but this time I'm going to go for a much darker green like that. And I'm going to hit OK. So I've got a light green and a dark green, and that's what I'm going to have my model sit on. Then I simply click in the middle and I drag out like this, and I'll have created a varying background like that. Now I'm very happy with this effect, so now I'm moving on to the dribble effect. I'm going to click this layer to bring my dribble layer in, and then I'm going to get my Move tool and I'm just going to move it down halfway down, about like this, so it looks like it's going to dribble from the sort of waist down. Now at the moment I need to ensure that this black goes all the way off the page on either side. So in order to do that, it's just Command and T, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to increase the size of this dribble effect so it's going all the way across the page on either side. I'm happy with that. I'm going to apply my selection by hitting the tick there. Now what I need to do is I need to select this black area, and the easiest way to do this is come up to the magic wand tool. So right click and choose the magic wand tool, and then I'm going to go ahead and click into the black areas, and that has selected the blacks. I no longer need this anymore, so I'm going to hide it, and then I'm going to come down and click into the layer mask, not into the image but into the layer mask, and then what I'm going to do is I need to invert this selection, because at the moment I'm only selecting the paint. I want to select everything which is not the paint, and the way that we do that is we just go selection and then we go inverse like that. So now at the moment we have all this bottom area selected and all this top area selected. I don't want the top area selected anymore, so I'm going to get my selection tool here. I'm going to choose minus, and I'm going to just minus everything off the top of this selection. So that has removed all the selection, and we only have the selection along the bottom here. Now all I need to do is I need to paint black into this area, and remember, painting black into the layer mask makes things hidden. So the easiest way to do this is just to come over underneath the gradient tool, right click, choose paint bucket, ensure your foreground color is black, and then you just go and click in this area. And what will happen is it will turn this area black and it will hide it. I like that. It looks fantastic. I no longer need my selection, so I'm going to go Command and D to deselect. The final thing I need to do to make this really stand off the page is to put some paint splatters on the background. Now the easiest way to do that is to click the colored layer and now create a new layer by hitting the plus here, and I'm just going to name this Splatter, because that's where the paint splatters are going to go onto. Now in order to do this I need my brush tool, so I come over here and select my brush tool, which is this one here, or B for brush. Now at the moment I have a very small round brush. This is not what I want to do. I want to create a more interesting brush effect. So what we do is under this option here we drop this down, and this will give us a bunch of options. So I'm just going to make this a little bit bigger so we can see, and we're after the special effects brushes, so I'm going to drop this little arrow down and I'm going to choose the second one here, which is Kylie's splatter brushes. So I'm going to go ahead and select that. Now this is a little bit in the way, so I'm just going to move this out of the way a little bit. Now at the moment we have created a brush effect. We now need to choose a color. So I'm going to come down to my foreground color and I'm going to choose a slightly darker shade. I'm going to hit OK, and then I can just click and you can see we've got a slight effect here. Now I'm going to use the square brackets to make my brush bigger, and I'm going to put another splatter. Make it bigger still and put another splatter. Now I'm going to change my color again, maybe to a lighter shade, hit OK, put a splatter in. Change my color, darker shade, hit OK. This time reduce the size of the brush. We're trying to make some random effects here. And then again, change the shade, change the size of the brush, and just do that a few times to get some different effects. I really like the effect. I think it looks fantastic. I hope that you found this video useful. If you have, please hit the thumbs up. Remember, there is a playlist of Photoshop advanced techniques which you can use if you would like to. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.